Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today we're going to talk about accountability and the very important role it plays in your VA business. Today's quote is from Catherine Pulsifer. At the end of the day, we are accountable to ourselves. Our success is a result of what we do. Really, it is about getting things done, right? Running your VA business takes a lot of time and effort, and when we're working on our own stuff, it's easy to let ourselves off the hook when we should be getting things done. We'll talk about why all VAs need an accountability partner in today's episode. Let's go. Getting things done is what we do as virtual assistants. We do it for other people. They pay us, and we do it. When was the last time somebody asked you to do something, say a client, and you didn't do it? Well, that's actually not the case. Sometimes we don't get things done, but in general, when a client asks you to do something, you give that thing priority, don't you? They're paying us, and so we need to make sure that we get done what they need to get done, provided that it's in our scope of work. But that's for another episode. Motivation isn't that hard when somebody else is doing the requesting. But what about our own things, our own stuff? There is a lot that we need to get done in our VA business or for ourselves, but because we're solopreneurs, we work alone. Nobody is there proverbially to kick our butt and to hold us to our deadlines, to our plans, to the things that we say we need to get done, the things that we want to get done. On our own, motivation can be very difficult. It can be hard. With nobody there pushing us, we can let things go by the wayside or just say we'll get to it later. We can get distracted by a lot of things. Our focus can shift to something else, maybe something more interesting, maybe something more fun, or maybe something that's just less work. There's an awful lot of pressure to do all the things. When we worked in a corporate job, somebody else was the one who was telling us what to do and when. We might have been super productive and worked very, very hard, but somebody else was responsible for making sure that the team deadlines got met, and we really just had to do our part. But now we're the only one in our business. We have to do that for ourselves. We have to do everything for ourselves, or be the one who's making sure that it's getting done, probably is a better way of phrasing that. As a matter of fact, every single day, I talk to VAs who are having trouble prioritizing. Sometimes they are having trouble figuring out how to manage multiple clients. Like everybody's stuff is a priority, right? How do we manage those kinds of things? That's a common question I get asked a lot, and I have a lot of discussions around that. It's just one of the things that we have to think about in our business. We have a lot of people that we're reporting to all of a sudden. How do we make sure of what gets done first? It's kind of something that we haven't had to deal with. When we have a job, it's the hierarchy of the office is who decides, what gets done and when it gets done. But when everybody's kind of on the even keel, on the level playing field, all of your clients are as equal as the other, then that's when we have to really think about it. And it's just another thing that we need to learn how to do well. There are many things that we need to learn to do well as a business person and not as an employee. And this is one of them. When the things that we need to get done are for us, they're not for our clients, it can be even harder. It can be so much easier just to push them aside, right? Hello, procrastination. And as a result, we set goals that we don't reach. We build bad habits. And we generally are less successful than we could be because we aren't doing the things that we know we need to do in our business, or maybe we don't know that we need to do them, and that's why we don't give them as much priority. But in order to reach the level of success that we say we want, we have to be able to work on things that are important to our business. And accountability is about doing what you say you want to do. If you set something up and say, I need to get this done, then you need accountability to help you get it done. Accountability is the actual act of making sure that something gets done, right? If you say it should be done, then you have to make it a priority. So, how can we get things done better, maybe than we are doing right now? If you guessed accountability, ding ding, you're right. By having somebody help you stay on track. And of course, that's what this episode is about. But before we talk about who can help you, let's talk about the actual things you aren't getting done. First, you have to decide, and accountability is for everything. It's business long, if you would call it lifelong. This is about business. And so it's not about getting accountability to get one thing done and then packing it in and that's the end of that. This is a habit that you're going to have to build into your business. And I actually should say that you get to build into your business, because here I'll talk about how to make everything sort of happen and how to choose somebody. And you get to do all of these things, right? So first you have to decide what you want to get done. It could be a task, a habit, a routine, a mindset shift. There's pretty much anything. Whatever you deem to be important is the very first step. And to get accountability on something and to actually make sure that you're going to get it done, I always suggest to focus on one thing at a time so that we can break that thing down and achieve it and then move on to something else, right? But once you decide what that thing is that you want, and it can be a goal or it can just be a task, like I said, or it can be a mindset shift. It's very difficult to call a mindset shift a goal, right? It doesn't seem as tangible as I want to get 3 new clients, or I want to increase my billing to $5,000 a month, or, whatever it is, I want to, get I want to start working with a 6-figure client, whatever it is. Those are the things that we often assign as goals, but there are lots and lots of things that we can manage to do better simply by getting accountability and building in those new routines and those new habits that will really help us be a better business person and frankly be happier. The next piece is to set the steps in place to get it done. And I 100% will tell you every single time to look for daily action steps that you can take. The more you look in on something that you want to get done, the more it will remain top of mind for you. And so it is really important to be able to even just check on something and put it on a daily checklist and make sure that you're looking in on it and that it's progressing as it's supposed to. Very, very important. But when we're talking about tasks, we put those on a to-do list, and it doesn't stop there, right? Then we need to figure out how we get those things done, when we're going to get them done. For habits, we need to find out when is our best time to do something and the frequency that it needs to get done. Like I say, will always suggest daily to you, because I really do believe that the more you're looking at something, the better off it is. I get a lot of VAs who will say to me, "Oh yes, I'm going to work on my business on Sunday for 2 hours. I blocked in 2 hours." And then inevitably something comes up and it gets reprioritized because it's their business. It's not a client's work. You say the client work, I'm doing that Friday morning at 11. You know that you're going to get it done Friday morning at 11. And so with our own stuff, we don't do that. We don't give it the priority that it needs. And so what happens is at the end of that week, you don't get that 2 hours put in, and all of a sudden, boom, you didn't get anything done that week. So daily stuff, if you can break things into 15-minute tasks, I'm a big proponent of the 15-minute task per schedule or bucket of time. And I think you will find that doing that and being able to craft those action steps so that they're just small. If you miss a day, you only miss 15 minutes, but you're going to pick it up the next day. So it's a really, really good habit. And so for routines, we need to find a pocket of time in a day or supplemental things that fit with that routine that will make us able to get it done. I know that if I've talked about Atomic Habits, the book, they talk about habit stacking. So, if you need to take medication every day, take it right after you brush your teeth. That's what my husband does. As soon as he brushes his teeth, then he goes and takes his medication, and then he knows he's taken it for the day. He doesn't leave the house without brushing his teeth, so he knows his habit stack is to take his medication after that. And that's the way routines work. If whatever you're doing, if you can supplementally add on something else to that every day, then you're going to be building better routines, right? And for that mindset shift that I was talking about, we need to definitely check in daily on that, sometimes even more often, but building new ways of managing or coping and being able to do that. Now, I'm not here to teach you how to do all of this stuff today. I just want to talk to you about how accountability is so, so important for being able to build in this new level of, I guess, professionalism. I'd like to think it is anyway. So. And the steps are the thing that we really need in place to know that we can get whatever the thing is done. And if we don't know the clear steps, that's where we need to start. We have to find somebody who can help us map out those steps and get them done. And it doesn't mean that you have to work with somebody all the way through, but if you don't know, for instance, my biggest request is how to get VA clients. If you actually don't know how to do that and you don't have a process in place, you don't have a strategy, you don't have daily action steps, then that's where you need to start. And you need to get the information about what those daily action steps are. And you need to take action on those things every single day. It might be the same action for, every day, or it might be different things that you're going to do every day. But the steps are the thing that you need to have in place to know that you can get whatever it is that you're calling important done. And then once you have the steps in place and you've put them into your calendar, you just have to map your progress, right? And take those daily steps to get to the goal, to complete the thing. And that's what we have to do with everything. And somewhere along the way, when we are trying to accomplish these three simple steps, right? Deciding what we want done, set in place the steps to do it, and then mapping the progress. Those are three steps. Somewhere along the way, we go off the rails. And maybe it happens all the time. Maybe it only happens occasionally. But the very first thing that we can do that honestly helps is to tell somebody else what it is we're trying to get done. It's extremely well documented that telling somebody else about a goal or something that you want to get done helps you focus on it much better than telling no one at all. If you don't tell anybody, you can totally let yourself off the hook. Oh, well, I just won't do that today. I'll do it tomorrow. You have to make yourself and the things that you know that you're saying you want to get done a priority. It's really, really important. And I have to tell you, it's actually really fun. It's not about getting things done, it's about becoming better and really making yourself the priority. I think that's one of the things that we don't even really do as women. We don't do it as virtual assistants. We definitely don't do it as business owners enough. And so I think it's really important that when you start doing it and you see the progress that you can make, it's super, super exciting. And when you're getting accountability, you're usually giving it to, and I'll get to that in a minute, but when you help other people, it also feels really good, right? So the first thing we can do is to tell somebody else. And getting accountability is even better because it's going to help you get better at doing the things you need to do. We don't need to do anything alone. We think we do because we're a solopreneur, we work for ourselves, we're on our own, and sometimes that can be a good thing because we get to make our own schedule. We get to choose who we work with. We get to choose what we do, all of those things. But that we don't have to do everything alone. And I think that when we realize that we can have support that is really trusted and really good for us and will help us be better and grow and learn how to do things better, I think it's really, really awesome. And so I highly suggest having either a person or a group to help you stay accountable. When we make the commitment to expanding that circle of trust, it really is awesome. I personally prefer groups, to be honest, so that you get the input of others. I run groups, so that's kind of where that comes from. I see the people who join my groups, like my mastermind, and all the other group coaching that I do, the events that I run, all that kind of thing. I prefer groups because I love we are so valuable. You are so smart. And you have so much to give to other people as well. It's not just about, being stuck on the things that you don't know how to do in a group situation. You are showcasing the things that you do know, and I love that about the mastermind groups that I run, and that's why I really do prefer them, because I feel like everybody helps each other, and I just love our industry for that. But I love the whole concept of the mastermind group as being able to do that as well. but I would be totally lost without my own accountability partner who I've had for many, many years. She's also become one of my best friends, but that's another story for maybe a podcast episode. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I've definitely worked with a few other accountability partners and several groups, and some of them were good and some of them were not. So you really do. You definitely need to vet the people that you are going to be inviting into your business. You're not just going to pick anybody because they're excited and they offer to be your accountability partner. It is a really good opportunity for you to find somebody who's genuinely going to help you and not just listen to, your woes and all the complaining that you will inevitably do. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with it. So you're going to interview people before you decide who will be the one or the ones, the group that you decide to work with. You ask them, what have you done? What are your goals? How long have you been in business? How will our partnership work? What will I get from your support? And how can I support you? You want to make sure that you find the right person or group, not just somebody, like I said, who is excited to get an accountability partner because they want to support each other. Accountability is so much more than just calling each other to ask advice. It's about making the commitment to be more productive, to implement your strategy or strategies, and to actually move your business forward. It's a business relationship, right? It's about getting your own support and using it properly. Many people will suggest that you go find a stranger. I did lots of research before I recorded this episode to see what other people were thinking. I think it's an excellent way to reinforce your own viewpoints. But you're going to, and so I've seen that a lot of people will actually suggest you go with somebody that you don't know. But for me, you're going to get to know this person very well anyway, and they you. So I actually don't think it matters as long as you set rules and you make sure that both of you stick to them or everybody sticks to them. It doesn't have to be somebody that you don't know. But be sure you do your interviews. Don't just say yes to the first person who comes along. You have to work with somebody who is at least moving at the same speed or in the same direction as you, and you need to be able to push each other forward. The more clients you have, the more important it is to get accountability support. If you're running a team, it's even more important, I think. In a group, you can work on regular habits because it's a month-long thing, right? You can reprioritize things. You can get to the business stuff that you're putting off, the managerial issues that maybe you're encountering with running your team. So many different things. And this is the kind of stuff you can easily look after in my monthly mastermind group, the Virtual Circle. Once you choose somebody, though, how does it all work? This is the last part. You need to make a schedule to meet regularly. You have to write things down. Make sure that you're not just chit-chatting and not making yourself a list of things to do. For my accountability partner and myself, we meet every 2 weeks and we have a list of things that we need to do before our next call. That's what you need to do. Write those things down. You need to ask for help. You need to prioritize your plan. You need to not miss your meetings. And you need to be honest with what you have done and what you haven't done. It's not about homework. Nobody's going to give you a bad grade. But in order for you to be able to move forward and get better, you have to identify the reasons that you have not done something. So you're looking for solutions when you were supposed to do something and you didn't do it, not excuses. And you, of course, help the other person or people in the group in the same way. You don't let them off the hook. Accountability is all about getting it done. So you don't let, oh, yeah, you were sick this week. Okay, that's fine. We have to reprioritize whenever we are sick and we move on. We get the most important pieces done. It's not about excuses. It's about making sure that we're working better. You work with deadlines and lists and strategies, which may sound super boring, but it's extremely effective. And with help, it's so much easier, especially if you're working on similar things. You also get feedback on stuff and you give feedback on stuff. As I say, in a group, this is absolutely so important. But one to one, it's essential because you have to support each other. It's one to one all the time. You seek out celebrations. It is super important to celebrate. It's not just about struggles. Absolutely not. It's not just about support. It's about truly
caring for the other person and making sure that everything that happens for you or for them gets celebrated in the style. It's your first phone call whenever something good happens, right? Or email. And you also can call or email when you immediately need help or if you have an immediate celebration. And it's definitely not all about the hard stuff. It's all about the good stuff too. The progress you're making, the good news that comes your way, the revelations that you make, the ahas that come towards you as you start to, do things differently. The more money you make, the more clients you get, the more productive you are, and the better business person you're becoming. It's all really, really good. The only thing you need to do is step out and share, right? Tell people really the way it is and what you're really struggling with. In a group, you do exactly the same thing. Most groups have regular calls or sessions, and then a community group like a Facebook group for the time sensitive things between calls. So instead of emailing or texting your accountability partner, you post in the group, and that's where you can get access to everybody the rest of the month. My accountability partner, like I said, and I meet every 2 weeks, and my mastermind group meets twice a month. And we also have a co working session once a month. And you talk about getting things done. That's actually what we're doing in that co working session. And before long, you're going to know so much more about each other's businesses, and you can really give genuine, trusted help to each other, which to me is the most important part, right? We can reach out to all of the VA groups we want, but we don't know the other people that are in that group. Maybe we do over time, but for the most part, we get a lot of advice that we're not sure is the right advice. And when you have a confidant, a partner, it feels like everything becomes more of a priority, not just for yourself, but for them. They get their, they give more value to you because you're sharing with them, and they are somebody who is there to cheer you on and to really help you. You will find yourself making fewer excuses for not getting stuff done. Nobody wants to look bad, but also you'll get into the habit of knowing how much you can actually get done between your calls, and you'll do a better job at saying, that was really lofty. I don't really have time to revamp my entire lead magnet or redo my whole website in 2 weeks between our calls. So this time I'm going to set a better goal, and you can walk things through day step by step by step, and it just makes, when you do it more often, you just get better at it. Practice like everything. And of course, accountability is absolutely meant to be positive. It's not meant to be negative. We do enough negative stuff ourselves, and if you are already struggling with your daily tasks, you need to reach out and get some support. It's a kind word, a resource, a pat on the back. That's what your accountability partner or group is really for. So what do you need help with? Do you need a strategy to get clients? Do you need help with your bookkeeping, your processes? Do you have daily bad habits that you're trying to correct? Are you trying to form daily good habits or just do them more often? There are so many things that you can get done. All you have to do is pick one and then find your accountability partner or partners and start working towards it. And then when you reach that one, you pick another and you move towards that, and you start creating better habits one step at a time. You can do it. I see people do it all the time. I help people do it all the time. I do it myself all the time with the help of my group and my partner. Every VA should have an accountability partner or a group. Be one of those ones who do, and you're going to be a better VA. You're going to be perhaps ridiculously good. Getting things done is something we can work together on in the virtual circle, as I mentioned earlier, my mastermind group for virtual assistants. You can check it out at yourvamentor.com/TVC, the virtual circle. And I bet it's exactly what you need to prioritize your stuff and start running a better VA business. If you need some help with strategy, action steps, getting your marketing or your business stuff prioritized, or managing your client or team workload, reach out to me at tracy@yourvamentor.com. I have helped hundreds of VAs through their challenges and got them on their way to growing their business through my private training and group coaching. I would love to do the same thing for you. That's all I've got for you this week. I will see you next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.